بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافي مزيدا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة نويت التعلم والتعليم وتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على تمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة إلى الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ramadan Kareem. This is a month which is Kareem, mashallah. And Karam in Arabic is a state of nobility and generosity. And many will know about the Karam of the Arabs, that they're hospitable people, and even the Muslims generally, very hospitable people, very generous. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this book, in his book Jalla Jalaluhu, he blessed us with many different understandings of our position in this world. Why are we here? The number one question for many people on this planet is, why am I here? What's my purpose? Unfortunately, it's a question that a lot of Muslims have as well, because of our shortcoming in our connection with the Book of Allah. And anyone who has a deep connection to the Book of Allah, and by association the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they're not confused, they're not anxious, they're not in this state of constant anxiety. And that's one of the things that you'll see in today's day and age. If you just reflect on issues that are going on around us, that it's a time of great confusion, that the things that were thabit, that were firm in the past, are now no longer seen as firm. And a lot of those aspects include morality. They include principles of what is karam, what is generosity. One of our teachers, as we mentioned when we were traveling just now, they were discussing a collection of hadith called the Muwatta, the Muwatta of Imam Malik radiyallahu anhu. And there are various different ahadith in that, and one of them is about ikram al-dayf, the doing good to your neighbours. And this was one of the principles that was discussed, and actually it might have been another class, it might have been in the discussion of the collection of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah. Anyway, so the principle there was about ikram al-dayf, to be kind and generous to your neighbour, right? And he mentions a story from I believe it's Imam Ali radiyallahu anhu, Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu. He comes up in a gathering and he's weeping. And so asked, what's made you weep? And he mentions, I haven't had a visitor come and visit me for over 3 days. And I believe it might be something from Allah, and it's something negative. Like I haven't had some, and how many of us, we have homes that are not open to others. We have people all around us, no one visits us, we don't go and visit anyone else. And this is something that was a principle that was firmly established in a number of communities across the world. We don't even say the Muslim world, but now those things are broken up and undermined. And that's what we're talking about, is that those things that were firm and foundational and principled in our lives have now become completely uprooted. to the point of all of the discussions that we know around us in society on other issues that are even more sensitive than that. Like the things that were firm are no longer firm. But the Book of Allah is the most firm. The word of Allah is eternal. There is no doubt in our hearts from the time it was revealed onto the blessed heart of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that it applies in its totality right up until now. And these firm and sound principles are something that we need to establish in our lives. Something that we need to establish by having a deep connection to the Book of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He takes various different oaths in the Quran. And whenever Allah makes an oath by something, it is by the grand nature of that thing. وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا, yeah, by the sun and the forenoon. وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا, and by the night as it follows, by the moon as it follows it, and so on and so forth. And He takes an oath, جل جلاله, فلا, in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, فلا أقسم بمواقع النجوم. And I, it's in the first person. أقسم بمواقع النجوم. I take an oath by the placing of the stars in the sky. And if we understood the miraculous nature of astronomy once we study it, and I'm not saying I'm an astronomist, yeah, but and don't get confused with astrology, yeah, two different things. But if we studied the stars, we would know what an amazing oath this is to take. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. And this is an oath, if only you knew, it is a magnificent oath. وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ. This is a massive oath. So what's going to follow? You have the qasam and you have the jawab al-qasam. Yeah, in Arabic you have the qasam and you have the jawab al-qasam. So you have the oath and the response to the oath. So if an oath is being taken by something so magnificent, then we understand the next statement is going to be magnificent. And what's it followed up with? Who knows? وَإِنَّهُ لَقَسَمٌ لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عَظِيمٌ إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. Inna, verily, most certainly, an emphasis, yeah? La, for emphasis again, the lam. Qur'anun Kareem, most certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, this Qur'an, it is Kareem. Innahu laqur'anun Kareem. في كتاب مكنون, in a protected book. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. None is allowed to touch it except the purified. Yeah, and many say is the angels, and the one who is ritually pure as well. Yeah, this is a Kareem book, and the Prophet ﷺ was Kareem. So it's a book that is Kareem, that was revealed onto the blessed heart of the Kareem Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they said, what does this Karam mean? It means a generous Quran, it means a noble Quran, it means one that every time we read it, we have a new opening and a new understanding of our place in this world. And what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing us to understand of our place in this world? So if we ask the question, okay, what do we think, if we were to say, Yani, what are we thankful for in the Quran? What would someone say? What do we get out of the Quran? What do we say? That's the question.
Guidance.
Guidance, yeah, mashallah. Yeah, guidance is broad, yeah. Guidance is broad, right? So what do we mean by guidance? If someone says, oh, I'm guided, alhamdulillah, what is this guidance? Or anything, any other responses?
Inspiration.
Inspiration, yeah, mashallah. Who said that? Was that you? What's your name?
Junaid.
Junaid, mashallah, yeah. Inspiration. Inspired to do what? What are you inspired to do?
Good deeds.
Good deeds, mashallah.
The mahkamat.
Yeah, the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah. And what if we were to say, what is good deed? What is good?
Telling the truth.
Telling the truth, yeah, mashallah.
Ayahs of the Quran, the ayahs of Allah.
Mashallah.
Salah.
Salah is good.
Salah wa atu zakat.
Yeah, well, aqimu salah wa atu zakah. Yeah, we're getting, we've got, mashallah, some good suggestions there. Yeah, but this is what we were talking about at the outset. Even knowing what is good is an amazing blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because there'll be people here in this day and age who will question, well, what you think is good isn't good for me. You think it's good. Even telling the truth, in this day and age, there's a lot of flexibility with the truth. A lot of white lies, and it's funny that they're called white lies, because what do? If you sin, it creates a black spot on your heart. So they're not white. There's no white lie. It's a dark lie. It's a darkness that will cover your heart eventually. May Allah protect us and our families and our loved ones. Ameen. Okay, guidance. What is good? What is right? How do I live my life? How do I live a righteous life? Okay, what else? What are we thankful? What is amazing about the Quran? We should have these gems like coming out.
Knowing our Creator.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. This is where we wanted to get to. We thought this was going to be the end one. But Riyaz Bhai, mashallah, it's ahead of the curve. Knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowing Allah. Allah didn't have to tell us anything about Himself. You know who is your Lord. This is something amazing, and there are levels and levels and stages of ma'rifah that people get to the more they increase in piety. But knowing who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is my Creator. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. What does this mean? What does this mean?
We haven't created mankind except for the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, what's your name?
Daniel.
We know your name, but we're just sharing it with everyone. Daniel, everyone should know each other as well in the mosque. You might pray next to someone for months and years, and you wouldn't even know them, and probably, to be honest, at this day and age, people don't even say salam to each other. People don't even say salam alaikum to each other. That's miskeen, that's something so sad. That's something so sad. We should increase in spreading peace and spreading the greetings of our faith, mashallah. So وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So Daniel, he translated this as, we have not created the jinn and the mankind except that they worship me. Okay. And one of the mufassirun, the mufassir of the Quran, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he mentions that this ibadah, ya'budun, means liya'rifun. What's arafa? What's ma' is liya'rifuni. That they know me. Know me. Because our understanding of worship is that we came here, mashallah, we prayed in jama'ah, we did what we did, and a lot of people, they had different intentions for that. Some people, they came and they thought, I've got nothing better to do, I'm not even eating now, so I'll go to the mosque. That was one intention. The other person, he had an intention that he wanted to pray in jama'ah. The other person, and get the rewards that are mentioned of jama'ah. The other person, he said, okay, well, I want to see my brothers, actually, I want to see my brothers. That's beautiful. That intention is amazing. And the idea that we can build up intentions upon intentions, that's going to be the degree to which we benefit from any act of worship. So this act of ibadah that we do, or for example reading the book of Allah, we could make intention upon intention. It's so important to first begin with intentions. Like we began this class, نويت التعلم والتعليم وتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة. All of these are du'as basically about saying, I want to benefit and be benefited. When someone's speaking, they're not just here it's not a one-way conversation. We're benefiting from everyone involved. It doesn't matter when people say, oh, I don't know this, I don't know. Everyone knows something. Everyone's got the secret that Allah has placed in His creation, in the human being, inside them. Everyone's got something to give. Everyone's got something to give for this faith. لِيَعْرِفُونِ, so that they might know me. I only created, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I only created mankind and jinn that they worship me, i.e. that they know me. They understand who is their Lord, what is their position in relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What should I be teaching my family? What should I be teaching my children? This is the whole premise of the Quran. Yeah, to make firm in our hearts these principles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is establishing. As our brother Junaid mentioned, we have salah, we have zakah. These are the outward forms. Someone could be praying salah, and as the munafiq is mentioned, وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, and they don't remember Allah except only a little bit. And if we say this is a munafiq, then let's think about our prayer. Yeah, how much are we remembering Allah in that prayer? In that prayer, how much are we remembering? It might be actually nothing. It might not even be qalila. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ بس وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ. That might be, we all have to be honest with ourselves as to the state of our prayer, the state of our acts of worship when we're reading the book of Allah. And it's good to read it even if we don't understand it. Yeah, we should be doing khatams of the Quran. We should be reading the book of Allah. We should be connected to it. We should then try and find out just a little something about what Allah is saying to us, even through translation. Yeah, even through translation. There's no problem with. But the problem is we just don't we don't take the time out. And Ramadan is a great opportunity. Ramadan is a great opportunity. Allah has removed all of the distractions from you. And think about how much of a distraction food and drink and intimacy have on the human being. Because there's a part inside us that is inclining towards negativity, as we mentioned in another class. Yeah, there's a part inside us, the nafs. Inna nafsa la'ammaratun bisu. That the nafs, it guides you, it calls you towards evil. It calls you towards doing evil. Like there's a part of us that Allah has created within us that it needs to be tamed. That the pathways for shaitan, they become restricted during Ramadan. These veins, they become constricted because we're not eating food and drinking. So now you have those out of the way. And what else do we know about Ramadan? That the shayateen are locked up. The big ones at least. And we mentioned before about the shayateen from the human beings as well. Yeah, don't forget about them. They're still walking around. Yeah, they're still walking around. And if someone was then to say, well, I know the shayateen are locked up, but why am I still sinning? Why am I still sinning during Ramadan? Firstly, one should understand the value of Ramadan. Please, if we are inclining towards sinning during these days, we have not understood what an amazing blessing it is to be alive in these days. If we are still looking at the haram, and even aside from that, if we are, and someone say, well, no, alhamdulillah, I'm married, I don't look at haram. Okay, well, you probably get angry, you probably lie sometimes, or do those white lies, yeah? You probably don't have the strength or the ability to take advantage of all the blessings that Allah has given you as well. Yeah, not you, but one may reflect on whatever their sins are. The reason for that someone is still able to persist in their sinning, and why we decided a few months before Ramadan to start thinking about it and planning for it, is because when, for example, if you're consistent and regular in doing something, you will continue upon that way. Yeah? If you're consistent and regular in doing something negative, you'll continue upon that way, even if the shayateen are not there to just give you a little whispering. That's all the shayateen will do. They'll just whisper to you. Yeah, they'll just whisper to you. Oh, do this. Might not do
Shaitan
that.
spies as well, don't
Yeah.
It says in the Quran, the shaitan spies.
Yeah, the shaitan it is whispering to you. But what's it whispering inside? What is it trying to take advantage of? Is this nafs. That's then inclining, and then the more you feed it, the more you feed it, literally sometimes the more you feed it. For example, at iftar time, we shouldn't be stuffing our faces with food. Firstly, that's not physiologically good for you. Yeah, it's not good to just stuff your face immediately after a day of fasting. It's just slowly one should build up towards having a meal in the evening. Yeah, but secondly, it completely negates the idea of discipline that this month is trying to teach us. And the nafs should be restricted during this time and taken advantage of and put in its reins. Yeah, like a horse, one has to bridle it, and put it in its reins and say, no, I'm going to use you for what you were created for, to inspire me towards food, drink, intimacy, because I need these things as a human being. But other than that, I'm not going to let you get the best of me. That we should have self-control. Oh, this person, I was driving here today, and I need to get here quite quickly from the house, so I was driving on the road, and then this guy in front of me, and sort of rainy and wet, and he was just, I don't know what he had in his mind, he might have been in a rush or whatever, yeah, so then he goes to take a turning off, and I must have been close to him or something, because as I walk past, yeah, he gives me a swear, he gives me like the sign for a song, I won't do it in front of you, but he starts basically swearing at me, right? And you think, subhanAllah, like, people are just right now, people are just on the edge. They're just ready to crack. And that might be anger, that might be intimacy, that might be looking at the haram, that might be speaking out of turn, that might be just being lazy. People get lazy in Ramadan. They call it Shahr al-Nawm, like some people call it like the month of just sleeping. But we had some of our greatest victories in Ramadan as Muslims. As in battle, imagine fighting battles, yeah, and you're having to fast at the same time, subhanAllah. Anyway, so that's a brief background on where we're at with the Quran. I thought what might be helpful, because I only just got back last night, is just to focus on some ayat that I picked up over the course of the last week, and how they relate to the central premise of Ramadan. Yeah, how they relate to the central premise of Ramadan. What is the central premise of Ramadan? Like, what would we say? Quran, yeah, good. What else? Why the Quran? Like, what's the... Discipline, yeah, brilliant, yeah, discipline. What type of discipline? What's your name? Musa. What was your name? Bilal, yeah, Musa and Bilal, mashallah, beautiful names. Okay, we had discipline, we had the Quran. Yeah, the Quran is teaching you discipline. Okay. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you might possibly attain taqwa. And every year we talk about taqwa, isn't it? Every year we have this discussion. What is taqwa? What does it mean? How do we understand it? What are the fruits of it? Etc. etc. What would someone say is taqwa? Okay, we've got two, yeah. Mindfulness and consciousness, yeah, good. What else? What's taqwa? God. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one. God. No, I like that one.
Allah.
Good. God.
Fearing Allah. Fearing Allah.
Fearing Allah, yeah. Fear Allah. Yeah, because a lot of the times we kind of, in today's day and age, we rely a bit more on the consciousness side. Yeah. And we say, I'm conscious, but I'm weak. Allah Ghafur Rahim. And we don't really have that fear. We don't really have that fear. It's almost a bit of a taboo nowadays to say, I fear Allah. We should fear Allah. We should also have hope in Him. Have hope in Him. Ultimately, Allah has created us, and He wants us to succeed. When people kind of get really OCD about, I'm not sure if did I do this, and I'm not sure I did this 3 times in wudu. Did I do this? No, Allah doesn't want you to lose. You're not here so that you fail. Allah's on our side. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. Allah is with you wherever you are. This is on the one hand, it can be taken as a fearful ayah, that He is with you and watching you wherever you are. And on the other hand, it's a hopeful ayah that anytime you're in desperation, anytime you're feeling hardship, anytime you're feeling difficulty, Allah is with you. And then we have levels of witness. We have levels of witness. Okay, we'll come on to that. We have levels of witness. Yeah, we'll come on to it. Okay, taqwa. Taqwa is really broad. And it's mentioned many times in the Quran, and the fruits of it are also mentioned about people of taqwa. What are their character traits? What is this person like? The one who is guarding, yeah, the one who is guarding, the one who is conscious, the one who is. And what do we mean by consciousness? Is to have. What do we mean by conscious? Mindfulness. Okay. What else do we mean? These are kind of a bit woolly, aren't they?
Fearful.
Always thinking about how will Allah Ta'ala feel if I do this or not?
Okay, yeah, maybe not feel, but yeah, how would Allah, what would Allah prefer from me in this situation, isn't it? Yeah, and how would the response be from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in a certain situation if I was to engage in a certain act of behavior? Yallah. Okay, so ultimately it's about preference, isn't it? Preferring Allah over everything. preferring Allah over everything. In any given situation, yeah, who am I preferring? If I want to get angry at someone who's arguing with me, who am I preferring? Usually it's the nafs. Usually it's the nafs. But Allah wants us to be people of taqwa who are higher than that. Yeah, so you have the thing over here, you have the sort of standard down here, yeah, at the very baseline level. So someone could potentially, for example, they could fast all day, give up their food and drink and intimacy, and they will complete a fast, but they might backbite, lie, cheat and steal during it. Look at haram. Have they completed their fast? There's an inner dimension and an outward dimension. But preference is that in that moment, yeah, okay, I prefer the idea that I shouldn't eat and drink because Allah told me not to, and that's praiseworthy. But then, have I also preferred those other aspects in the very book of Allah that I'm reading every single day and night, yeah, and we're hearing recited in the Taraweeh? Am I actually living by those character traits that Allah is trying to get me to live by it? Because they're the most important aspects, yani as important, we would say, as the outward acts of worship, yeah? Allah's not telling us things without any idea of, without us having any idea of how we should implement them. Okay, so Surah Al-Baqarah, mashallah, very beautiful surah, one that we could go on a long time about, one that's praiseworthy to memorize, along with Surah Al-Imran, yeah? And this was recited in the first few days of Taraweeh, yeah? I don't know what in Yemen they stopped around Surah Al-Kahf, okay? The last couple of days, yeah, around Surah Al-Kahf. I don't know where we're up to in this mosque, but
Surah Hud.
Yeah, Surah Hud. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so a bit further ahead. I mean, there, mashallah, yeah, they've just got a system and a community and a way of living that is so well established and so keenly focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they will push themselves way beyond what you would think was possible. So there's a khatam at one of the masajid that they do the main khatam on the 17th night, actually, not on the 27th, okay? And then there's one of the masajid there that they do a khatam every 4 days. 4 days. Right? We're struggling to do a khatam of maybe the first juz in the first 4 days, yeah? 4 days, every 4 days they do a special khatam, mashallah. And it's just about, these things we can't necessarily say, oh, I wish I was like that and I'm so rubbish and da-da. Everyone's got to compete against themselves. There are some brothers that don't know how to read the Quran, so there's a good time for them to pick that up. There are some brothers who know they can read the Quran but they don't do it. That's worse. If you know you can do it and you don't do it, that's worse. Yeah, or we thought maybe last year I did one khatam about the 27th night. Maybe I'll try and do it on the 26th this night. Just to try and push ourselves a little bit more. Maybe 25th, maybe 24th. And there's nothing wrong with finishing the khatam, doing the khatam of the Quran before the 27th night. Okay, and in Surah Al-Baqarah, mashallah, so many beautiful ayat, so many ayat about different stories of the past. Adam alayhi salam, Hawa, and the different categories of people in the world, the believers, the hypocrites and the disbelievers, etc., etc. And then in the middle of, around about the middle of Surah Al-Baqarah, just afterwards, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا. And from amongst mankind, there are people who take other than Allah as someone to call upon, as a rival, someone to worship. Yeah? يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. They love them in the same way that they love Allah. They love these things that they call upon in the same way that they love Allah. So it's not like these people, they may even know who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a degree. Or maybe they don't, and they're just worshipping these other things, yeah? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. And as for the ones who believe, they are more intense in their love for Allah. They're more intense in their love for Allah. So it's not more intense in terms of your worship of Allah, not more intense in your outward forms that you carry out, although this is a sign of love, if it's done with the right intention. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. And this is one aspect of taqwa as well, right? That you're doing something, you're guarding. Why? Some people will guard because of fear, some people will guard because of hope, and some people will guard because of love. And these rivals that one sets up in one's heart that are other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I've got this idol in front of me and I'm just plonk it in front and this person's like, what do you have to be like, worshipping an idol. Let's think about what we set up as rivals for Allah in our own lives. How many times we prefer our own, usually it's our own desires that we set up as a rival in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we love it just as much, if not more. Because why? They overcome us and overpower us. And the one who's blessed, or the person of taqwa, actually he may be overcome in a moment, but then he remembers Allah and he asks for forgiveness. Yeah, so it's not saying we have to be perfect and we never make mistakes. You make a mistake and you turn back to Allah. Why? Because you love Him. Because you love Him. And He loves you. And there's different levels of love, like we said before. And there's different levels of witness. Yeah. Ma'akum. He's with you. Okay. And that's half the ayah. وَلَوْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا إِذْ يَرَوْنَ الْعَذَابِ. And if only those who wrong themselves, who do wrong, could see the torment, could see the punishment. أَنَّ الْقُوَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. That the all strength is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Yeah, all strength and all power is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعَذَابِ. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most severe in punishment. May Allah protect us from His punishment. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Okay. Who else are these groups of people amongst mankind? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. And amongst mankind are certain people who would sell their own selves seeking the pleasure of Allah. They would give their own selves. Again, who are you preferring? وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And Allah is all full of kindness for His slaves. He is so kind to His slaves. Are we going to give everything that He's provided us and give it up, only seeking Him? Yeah? Only seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Can you provide the ayah numbers as well?
The ayah numbers, yeah. So one is 165, yeah, 2165. Okay. 165, and the other one is 207. 207. Yeah. Surah Baqarah, 207, 165 as well. And it's good if we can go out and just kind of maybe read a bit more about the background. This is quite difficult when you're thinking about firstly, we're not trying to just cover last night's Tarawih, we're trying to cover like the whole weeks. So it's just picking out little gems that we found along the way. And if anyone has any others to share, then ahlan wa sahlan. But these are all around this whole idea of, and it was really just through the Tarawih, this whole idea of taqwa, of preferring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guarding ourselves against His limits. Yeah. Why do you guard yourself? What is the reason for which one decides to guard themselves? Yeah. Okay. Okay. MashaAllah. And if we truly knew who was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there wouldn't be any doubt in our minds that not only does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala see what we do, He also sees inside our very hearts, and that's exactly where Allah's gaze is. Yeah, He's looking at your hearts. He's looking at your hearts. And that doesn't mean, in my heart I'm a good person, but I just do some bad stuff. No, we do the good things, but then we also have deep and profound intentions in our hearts, because Allah not only will look at your what you're doing outwardly, but He will also look at your intentions inside it. So He knows your intention, and not only beyond that, He knows what caused that intention in the very first place. That many of us, we may not even know, that this essence of the human being that exists within us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is more aware. And Allah Jalla Jalaluhu la yakhfa alayhi shay'un. In Surah Al-Imran, if we go into Surah Al-Imran, okay, so it begins from the start, it begins from the start. Alif Lam Mim. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Nazzala alayka al-kitaba bil-haqqi musaddiqan lima bayna yadayhi wa anzala at-tawrata wal-injil min qablu hudan lin-nasi wa anzala al-furqan. Innal ladhina kafaru bi ayati Allahi lahum adhabun shadid wallahu azizun dhu intiqam. Right, so all of that is a summary. Allah is mentioning about knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nazzala alayka al-kitab, that He sent down upon you a book in truth that is confirming that which came before it. This Quran, it comes in truth and it confirms everything that came before it. He sent down the Torah, He sent down the Injil, min qabl hudan lin-nas, that this was a guidance for mankind. Wa anzal al-furqan, and He sent down this criterion. All the things that we said are firm, that are thabit. It is the criterion between right and wrong. This is firm. This Quran is biqawl al-thabit. It's the criterion. It judges between what is right and what is wrong. Inna alladhina kafaru bi ayati Allah, the ones who disbelieve in the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lahum adhabun shadid. For them there is a firm and strong, severe torment. Wallahu azizun dhu intiqam. Allah is almighty and able of retribution. This is where we come to again. Inna Allah la yakhfa alayhi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama. This is what we want to get to. Ayah 5 of Surah Al-Imran. Most certainly for Allah, nothing in the heavens and the earth is hidden from Him. Nothing. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. He is the one who shapes you in the wombs exactly as He wishes. So if someone's, they look a certain way, they act a certain, they have a sort of, appearance or whatever. Get people nowadays, they're just obsessed with the outward appearance, and they don't understand this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you. Why are you trying to play around with your appearance? And oftentimes it only deforms your appearance. So someone who just wears layers and layers of makeup, for example, with women, unfortunately it's a big thing on Instagram and these other things. Like, you just see visions and images of people that aren't real. Allah created you in a certain way. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. The way you were created is perfectly shaped according to Allah's plan. And then obviously if we have possibility to increase in health and other benefits, and we should be healthy, we should be strong, we should be firm, but your actual physical appearance, this is something that was specific to you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe improve the inner beauty, and then the outward will become even more magnificent. Allah knows everything. Allah knows everything. Allah knows even that which we whisper to our own selves. And this is again, do we see the link towards taqwa? We see the link towards taqwa, of guarding oneself. That Allah, He knows the innermost secrets that you have within your own soul. And then it naturally follows that one becomes, if one understands this, then one becomes more conscious of who's watching them. The more we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more we're conscious that Allah, nothing's hidden from Allah. Even if I lock myself away in my room and it's dark and I log on to a website or whatever, you might go anonymous. You're not anonymous to Allah. On my phone, and no one knows what I'm looking at on my phone. I'm in my room. Inna Allah la yakhfa alayhi shay'un fil ardi. Personal taqwa, they then think, okay, cool. I'm going to stay away from it. Okay, it's hard. We're not.
Shaitan will invite you.
Exactly. Exactly. Shaitan will then invite you. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. We created the human being and we know exactly what the soul, the self, it inspires, it whispers to him. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. And we are even closer than this artery, yeah, to him. His jugular vein, sorry, his vein. If anyone's a doctor, arteries away from the heart, veins to the heart. I think that's right.
Yes.
Veins go to the heart, isn't it? Veins go to the heart as well. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't think. Well, I'm not doing tafsir right now, but
They both go to
Main arteries, they pump the blood
away from the heart,
to the veins.
and then the veins they bring them back. Well, I'm not.
Google it.
I'm not sort of. Okay. So if Allah is all aware of everything, even what we're whispering to us, you know when you're sitting there and you have certain thoughts come to your mind, yeah, and you haven't done anything at that time, it's just a thought comes across your mind. Yeah, some of them, thoughts are divided into many different categories. Yeah, some of them are shaitani, yeah, some of them are just, are just strange and should just be put to one side. Yeah, this is actually, there's whole books written on the division of thoughts in that and what comes across our hearts and minds. And then some of them, you know, when you're inspired just randomly to do something good, none of that's random. Yeah, that they're from the angels. Some of them are from the angels. Yeah, that inspire you. Oh, I wanted to do something. I wanted to give in charity, for example. I wanted to, even stopping yourself doing a bad deed is from Allah's grace. Yeah, through the angels. And on that same theme, we'll jump ahead a few surahs just because this is linked to Allah's knowledge. Yeah. وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ, and He has, mafatih is actually the keys, yeah? Allah has the keys to the ghaib, to everything that's unknown. لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ, none knows them except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there is a certain type of knowledge that none of us will ever get to access. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ, and He knows whatever there is on the land and in the sea. Yeah, when I was flying back, you look down and you see just the vastness of Allah's creation. Even when you're above the clouds, you think Allah knows every single part of everything that is in existence. And He relates to it equally, Jalla Jalaluhu. So the sun, the magnificence of the sun, yeah, if we see it when we're flying or even just looking in the sky, He'll relate to that in the same way as a tiny ant in the ground. Like He knows everything that is in existence and the details and the finite particulars of it. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَمَا تَسْقَطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا, and not a single leaf falls from a tree except that Allah knows of it. وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ, and no grain in the darkness of the earth. وَلَا رَطْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ, even whether it's fresh or dry. إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ, except that it's written in a clear record. Yeah, so again, this is all on the theme of Allah knows everything. And if we allow our desires and our food and drink and our intimate relations, all of these things to overpower us, then we are naturally going to be blinded from, and we are distant from the book of Allah, most importantly, yeah, then we are naturally going to be not people of taqwa. Yeah, we're naturally going to be like, we're just going to be blinded by all of the worldly pursuits and the finite things that we want to achieve, and we're not going to be guarding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Then, what are they will say?
Yeah.
Injustice in that day.
Yeah. La dhulma al-yawm. Yeah.
Exactly. And then there's an ayat towards the end of Surah Taqwaa where Allah said, Illa man sha'allahu, where Allah said that you can't will anything unless I want you.
Yeah.
You can focus
Very
on
good.
God, you can focus on that a lot sometimes. Like, yeah, what I'm doing is because of Allah. Allah has also stated that in Quran that I won't do any injustice.
Yes.
You clearly see what have you done, what have you brought forward. So everything is basically what your hands have done.
Yes.
So my
Yeah, beautiful, yeah. There won't be any injustice on that day. La dhulma al-yawm. On this day, there will be no injustice. Right, so someone will be like, oh no, but I didn't want to. No, there's no injustice on that day. Okay. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. But you won't do anything except Allah wills it. Yeah, so we've just got to hope and expose ourselves to the best opportunity of Allah guiding us and being in His good graces. This is the whole point of taqwa as well. Yeah, that the more you guard yourself, the more that you're showing and exposing yourself to the opportunity that Allah continues to guide you. Yeah, for example, you came to this majlis and decided to sit after the Asr prayer. Some people didn't. The reason that you're sitting here and they're not is only Allah. Allah's grace. It's God's grace. He chose you to be here right now. I might have been delayed, I don't know, by a week or 2 weeks, whatever. But it's Allah's grace on me that I'm sitting here. And we're incredibly thankful. And then that gratitude and that thankfulness, it then inspires us to do more good. Yeah, to try and draw closer to Allah and just be more thankful. Yeah. Why? وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ. Yeah, in Surah Al-Imran, ayah 133, and march forth, race forth to the forgiveness of your Lord and to a Jannah, a paradise that its width, its breadth, its expanse is as wide as the heavens and the earth. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, and this has been prepared for the people of Taqwaa. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Who are the people of Taqwaa? This is such an amazing series of ayat. We should cover it. What time is doing?
42.
40?
32.
32. Okay. That's it. Okay, we've got 10 minutes, yeah? 32. Okay. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't mention, okay, people, it's prepared for the people of Taqwaa without telling us who are these people. They have certain character traits. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. They are people who spend in good times and in bad times. It's easy when you've got good times. Yeah, mashallah, I've got my credit card. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, you just go downstairs and you're doing your contributions to the masjid. Mashallah, it's even easier now. Yeah, you don't even have to feel the poor person's kind of like gratitude or anything. Just like bang, you've just done it. Okay, but this is good as well. But the person who is in difficulty, like this was the state of the Sahaba. That some of the poorest ones of them, they would give everything, and they wouldn't give of the worst of what they've got. You know, when we're trying to give away now, yeah. Firstly, we might just think, oh, I've got a few extra pounds. There's only £5. Yeah. No, they would give of the best. They would give the best of what they had. So like those new clothes that we've got, or that, you know, whatever we bought that we really cherish, they would give of that. They wouldn't just chuck away, oh, I'm giving to the masjid, okay, I've got some old bag, I'll give them, yeah, who cares? Yeah, no, or whatever it is, maybe not a bag, but you know, I'm going to buy something for the homeless people. What are you going to buy them? Probably the cheapest, unpleasant food, yeah, that you wouldn't probably even eat yourself. Yeah, not you, but one wouldn't eat themselves. But they would give of the best of what they had. Alladina, in difficulty as well, yeah, fi السراء والضراء. What else are they? وَالْكَاذِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. There's a hard one. They repress their anger. They grasp it. And this is what we're talking about. This bestial element inside us that wants to overcome us. Yeah, that it's always getting like hyped up. It's always getting inspired to do something. Yeah, to act on anger, to act on eating more, to act on our shahawat, our desires. But if you can rein that in and use it as a force to do good, then there'll be openings upon openings. Yeah. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. They repress their anger. This is all attributes of people of taqwa. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. There's also a hard one, that they pardon people. They overlook things. Oh, this person, he swore at me on the road. You just wait till I get in front of him, I'm going to swear at him again, or like I'm going to cut him up, or you know, that is nafs. There's no actual benefit one would get from doing that. Yeah, we all get it, especially as, you know, as men. Maybe women get it in different ways, I don't know, but or maybe they'll hear a girl say, you know, a woman sort of saying something about them in the back, you know, gossiping or something, and then they will hold on to it for years and years. Yeah, or maybe, yeah. Maybe your wife will come up with something that you didn't even know existed, or you'd said, yeah, mashallah, yeah, Allah knows everything in the heavens and the earth, and the wife's coming pretty close to it as well, isn't it? Especially the bad things that you say. No, Allah bless all of our women, mashallah. Yeah, ameen. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ, and they overlook, they pardon men. Wallah, and this is what we're trying to get to. Wallahu yuhibbul muhsineen. Allah loves those people who are people of ihsan. This is another level. Again, if you wanted to fast and pray and do all of the 5 pillars of Islam, okay, you could do that and maybe not even take into account these things. But if we want to be people of ihsan and get to that next level, we need to live these character traits. Why would we say that we believe in the Quran that we don't implement? Who else are people of taqwa? وَالَّذِينَ, in the next ayah, 135. 133, 134 and 135. These are pivotal ayat if one wants to understand the character traits of a person of taqwa. وَالَّذِينَ, and these people are also إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً, that when they have done actually something very fahisha is something very inappropriate, right? Very inappropriate, let's say, vulgar, vulgar, or the desires have overcome them, something very, very wrong, basically, So they've already this wrong thing has happened. إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ, all that they've wronged their own selves. These are people, they've sinned, they've done wrong. So a person of taqwa is not someone who never does wrong. He might have done something wrong, okay? He might have done something wrong. إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذَكَرُ اللَّهِ. At that moment, immediately, snap, wake up. Oh, whoa, I shouldn't have done. Why did that happen? And they know that they know that they've been overcome by their own selves. ذَكَرُ اللَّهِ فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ. So then they ask forgiveness for their sins. And they have this understanding, and they know, وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, and who forgives sins except Allah? Who forgives your sins except Allah? وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ, and maybe we can end on that. And they don't persist on what they've done while they know. These are one of the conditions of repentance. Stop, to cease and desist. To feel the regret, stop doing the action and make an intention never to go back to it. And you might fall back into it again, and Allah will still forgive you if you are sincere. And you might go back to it again, and Allah will still forgive you. Why? Because He's on your side. He wants you to succeed in this. He wants you to succeed. He wants you to draw closer to Him. He wants you to attain His love. Why would He prescribe something that is intended to develop all of these traits of taqwa within us, except that He loves you? Allah loves the people of taqwa, as He's mentioned in His book. So He wants you, He's already starting you. The training wheels that you get when you're trying to ride a bike? He's already put the training wheels on during Ramadan. And He's saying, you've got the capacity to build up this taqwa. You've got the capacity to draw closer to me. And Allah loves these character traits if you can develop them and then keep building upon them, and then you have the highest states of taqwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us and our family members, all of our loved ones, to be people of taqwa. May He allow us to develop all of these praiseworthy character traits. May He allow us to have the best, most mubarak Ramadan that we've ever had. And if we're falling short in these 10 days, may He renew our intentions and our aspirations in the next 10 days and the following 10 days, such that we end this month and we are not of those who the Prophet ﷺ said, may he be disgraced. May he be disgraced. The Prophet ﷺ is cursing this person. Who is it? The one who enters Ramadan and he doesn't get forgiveness at the end of it. May his nose be dusted. May he be humiliated, this person. And there are two other elements to this. Maybe we can go into this in the next class about what a miskeen person that he entered Ramadan and he didn't get forgiveness. This is how much Allah is on our side. That you still, despite all of this, you didn't manage to get the forgiveness of Allah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never allow us to be of that group. May He allow us to be of the people of forgiveness. May allow us to have these du'as that we make in our personal time in the next 15-20 minutes to be accepted. May increase us in knowledge. May He forgive us for our shortcomings. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.